Happy Easter. My name is Promise Okoy and this is Community Update. This weekend, Canadians are joining the rest of the world to observe Easter celebration. To many, this is just another long weekend to spend with family and friends. But some believe there is more to Easter than the bunny egg and all of it. One of such people is Seun Salami, the pastor of Believers House, a multi-ethnic community in Hammonds Plain, Nova Scotia. Also the president of Believers Heritage Ministries. Pastor Seun, thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Promise. It's a pleasure to be here.
Same here. So, Pastor, is there more to Easter? What is the significance of this recurring event?
Oh boy, that's an amazing question. It's a loaded question because you see, Easter is the basis of Christianity. Easter is the reason why Christianity exists. If there was no Easter, there would be no Christianity. That's just the fact. And what's funny is that, around here, people celebrate Christmas a lot. Even people who are not Christians, who really don't understand where we got the idea from or what the celebration of Christmas is about. So everybody celebrates Christmas. You should come here on Christmas Eve for our candlelight service and see the people. Some people who don't even go to church normally, they come for Christmas. But we try to make people understand that even is Easter for us. For every Christian, Easter is the biggest Christian celebration that there is. And why is that? Because, you see, if Jesus came, which is Christmas, if he was born and lived, and there was no death, burial, and resurrection, there will be no Christianity. The resurrection is the basis of our Christian faith. That's why in this period of Easter, we have to remember that that's what we are celebrating. So we don't do, egg hunting and all of these things, even though we know that that's what, the commercialization of Easter has become. Just like Christmas, very similar to Christmas. There's so many things that have been put around it in a way to accommodate people who don't share the Christian faith. But those of us who are Christians have to remember what it's all about. And it's about the resurrection, which was the game changer. Because the Bible tells us that if they had known, they would not crucify the Lord of glory. So that's what we celebrate on Easter.
I was going to ask that question, exactly what you've just mentioned, that here in the West, particularly Canada, Easter is considered a very important festival. And one is wondering, how does the Easter bunny and the egg fit in all of these? But what more can you say? I mean, how did this all come about, the egg, and the bunny thing?
Well, you see, I don't want to spoil the Easter celebration for the kids. Okay, so it's okay to go after the eggs and do all of those things, but you need to understand that whenever you have a real dollar bill, there is always a counterfeit, and the fact that there is the counterfeit means that the real version exists somewhere. So whenever you have a celebration like this that is unique to a specific group of people. I don't want to say it is if I say the work of the devil, I sound like a pastor. But the truth of the matter is that there's always going to be a counterfeit. There's always going to be some other version that is not exactly what it's supposed to be, but it is in a way to accommodate all the other people who don't necessarily want to believe in the lordship of Jesus Christ, but still want to be part of the celebration. They still want to, enjoy the celebration without necessarily believing who the celebration is all about. So they will find other ways, and this is what has come about, over the years. And they will find other things to push into it and to make it more acceptable, more commercially viable, right? So that stores can sell more things, so that people can just enjoy the season without necessarily believing in the reason for the season. So we don't want to go into all the history, but all we need to remember is that as you celebrate, don't forget to remember what the celebration is really all about.
All right, Pastor, let's shift a little bit to the happenings globally. And as the world celebrates Easter, coincidentally this year, during this period where this ongoing war in Ukraine and, of course, the pandemic that has come upon us and so on, what is the role of religion in resolving global crisis, you think?
Well, yeah, that's a very good question, I promise. You see, Religion has a role to play, but if you look deeply into the scriptures, what you're going to find may not be palatable. It is that we are in something called the end times, and these are all signs of the end times. What happens is, because we are shifting so much away from the scriptures, we are relying more and more on what we see and what is being reported in the mainstream media and all of these things. The truth of the matter is, in the end of the age, which is what we are in, there will be wars and there will be rumors of wars. So these are things that Jesus already told us, that when you see these things, know that the end is coming. Now, in church here, we pray every week. We still pray concerning the war in Ukraine. It's not, we have to continue to do that. But we also have to realize that what these things are reminding us of is that we are not going to be here forever. That Jesus is still coming soon, whether or not anybody is talking about it. So these are the things that for Christians, this is what makes us different. This is what makes us unique, makes us different from the world. That yes, all of these things are going on. We will continue to pray about it. That's our role, because the world is not going to pray. We are the ones that can pray. So we'll
Right.
continue to pray. We'll continue to engage. We'll continue to, like what the Pope is trying to do, right? And all of these Christian leaders use, the platforms, their influence, right, to try to mediate and do all of those things. But at the back of our minds, we know that these are all signs that the scriptures have already predicted. These are all signs, and we have to continue to do our best on the earth to make things better, but not forgetting that as we are trying to make things better on the earth, we need to keep reminding people that there is coming a day, very, very soon, that all of this will be over. And that is what we all have to focus on this period of Easter. This is what this period is really all about. I hope I answered your question, Promise.
Absolutely, yes. And I'm hoping that the church would also use this occasion, to bring about healing, to pray for healing. So let's talk a little bit about your church, the Believer's House. It was founded in the middle of pandemic. So what was the motivation behind that mission?
Promise. You see, of course, you know that I don't have any experience in starting a church in a pandemic. This is the first pandemic that I've ever lived through. So what happened was, this church called Believer's House was really born out of an overwhelming desire to see people come to know Jesus, to become more like him, and then see those people lead other people to Jesus Christ. Now, I've always known that I'm called of God. I knew that since I was 10 years old. But there's a difference between being called and being sent. So all of my life, I've been waiting for that season to be sent. I've been waiting for the period where God will say, okay, this is what I really, really want you to do with your life. So I've been preparing. I've been in ministry all my life. I was a youth pastor. I was a teens pastor. I went on campus. I was fellowship president. I've pastored a youth church. I've done all of that. But it wasn't until we moved to Halifax and I started to go out to talk to people about Jesus, which is what I do from time to time. But one day I was on a phone call with one of my mentors in Saskatchewan, in Regina, actually. That's where his church is. And I was talking to him over the phone, and I was just sharing this burden with him that, lately I've been having this burden for people. And as I talk to people, I just feel like I need a system, a place, a way to disciple these people and make them grow. And then he said, "Why you should start your church now? Why are you asking me what system? Start." And I said, don't you know what's going on? There's something happening called the pandemic. There's this thing called coronavirus. I hope you have heard about it. And you laughed. I said, yeah, of course I've heard about it, but that doesn't stop you. In fact, that is the best time for you to start a church. I said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, because now all you need right now to start a church is your camera, which you already have, and yourself. That's exactly how we started the church. There was no single member. It was myself and my wife, and today we thank God for what he has done. It's been an interesting journey, bro.
In summary, what exactly has it been like? I'm interested, really. Highlight.
Yeah,
how has it been?
It's been a journey. Yeah, I can share a few things with you. It's been a very interesting journey, because we were what you might call a parachute launch. That's what it's called, which is that we don't belong to any mainline denomination. I grew up in a denomination all my life, but when I started talking to these people, I found out that the people that I was getting the most response from were people of several ethnicities. In fact, I wasn't getting results with people that came from Nigeria, where I come from. right? Because it's almost like Nigerians know a lot about religion already. They know about Jesus Christ. There's nothing you want to tell a Nigerian person. I mean, even if he doesn't go to church, he knows, he has heard about Jesus. So it was almost like you're wasting your time with this one. But the people who are born here, who were raised here, who are immigrants from other places, those were the people that I was getting, reactions from, getting commitments, decisions for Jesus from. And those were the people that started to show up. Those were the first set of people. And of course, they won't come every week, and they'll come this week, they won't come for another 4 weeks. And that's how we started this church. So from one family to 2 families, people started showing up gradually. First, there was weeks here that it's just me and my wife. We'll have the service, we'll worship God. When everybody goes, I'll come down here and I'll lie down on the floor and I'll say, Father, I just want to thank you for all the people that are still coming. And then just to imagine, like last week, we had a service here called Super Sunday that was packed out. And when you see things like that and you see where we were, I mean, recently we did a photo of how we started this place and what it is now. And you just thank God and you just look back and say, it's all about faith. And that's what this is all about. It's about faith. It's just about trusting God, knowing that, in your heart, being convinced that God is the one leading me.
If I let you, you will go on and on because it looks as though you have a lot of testimonies.
I warned you, promise.
So on a final note, what would you like to tell our viewers in 1 minute before I let you go?
All right. So I just want to remind everybody that Easter is a season where you need to reflect. You need to reflect on what Jesus has done for us. And after you're done reflecting, when you discover an empty tomb, you don't keep that kind of news to yourself. You don't. If you go to a grave and you find out that the person that was dead is no longer dead, you cannot keep that to yourself. So you need to reach out to people this season, let them know about this news. Because this is the only lasting solution to the crisis of the world, is the person of Jesus Christ. That's what Christians believe. So we need to take that news and share it with other people this season and let them know that you don't have to be in depression, you don't have to be in sickness, there is a better life, and that life is only found in the person of Jesus Christ. That's my final word.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Promise. Thank you for having me. God bless you.
That was Pastor Seun Salami of Believer's House here in Halifax. And of course, if you would like to subscribe to this channel for more episodes of Community Update, please feel free to do so. I am Promise Okoye, and I'll see you soon.